Alright, so this is the start of the Explorer 2nd Gen rear bumper. It's upside down. That's kind of how I put it together. So I start with it upside down, and then the top piece is made out of 3 pieces. You can see right here, then there's one there, then the far edge piece right there. So I line those 3 up with like a straight edge, like I used my level, just to get them close and get them lined up. And then I'd put this piece on, which holds the license plate. Make sure it's a 90. Then this piece is on each end will line up. They'll just kind of sit in there after you put it in this top piece. This is also for the bottom here. And then what I do is I put the mounts on that are where that it bolts to the frame on each end. They'll check the distance on each one of those between the 2 of them to make sure you have 41 inches, and it's about 41 1/16. Just as long as it's 41 plus, because the frame is 41 inches. And as you're setting those on there, then these go in here. They just sit in here for now. You'll adjust those later. And then I slide these 2 pieces on. So nothing's been welded yet. Everything's just sitting there. I slide those 2 pieces on to check alignment on everything. So once I get to this point, then I can start pulling stuff together, just filling up the gaps and tighten it up. So then I'll show you where I get after that. Alright, so now I kind of tacked it up. Just put a couple tacks here and there just so that it would hold it all together. It's actually pretty sturdy now. You can actually move it. These pieces kind of just flop around. But other than that, it's all pretty sturdy. Just kind of get it all held together, and then we'll start on the corners a little bit. Go from there. Alright, so next I tack on the very end pieces. You can see it's a couple different pieces here. And then it's still upside down. And this piece here, the inside piece, has to be put in beforehand because it gets locked in off the ends, so it can't come out. So then it will eventually get welded back in for reinforcement. And then you got the same thing on the other side. So then next we'll be putting on some of the other pieces. Alright, so the next thing you do is you flip the bumper over and you weld these 2 pieces, you tack weld these 2 pieces on. You'll have them on both sides here. And then what I do is kind of on this joint right here, because it ends up being such a tight joint, put a little grind on there so that there's a spot for the weld to fill in when you weld it. So I'll flip it back over and work on the other side again. Alrighty, so then this piece gets welded on, tacked on next, followed by the top piece here to help box it in. And then this long piece that ties in the bottom goes all the way across. It's 2 pieces right to there, and then all the way over. Then you got the other side on too. So then let's see this here. So it's upside down. So now I'll flip it so that it backs up, and then get the last supports in there. Alright, so then you tack in this triangular piece right here. It's set up so that it just joins here and then there, and then it just folds up to where it all makes contact. So you do that on both sides, and then there's this final mounting tab that I just have tacked in right here for mounting it to the frame. So you got the same on the other side. So now it's time to test fit it on the car. Alrighty, get the bumper to fit. Take off your rear bumper and take off the trailer hitch if you have one. Then you got to trim this section right through here off. The spare tire kind of stuck out in that section. You got to trim it off so the bumper will be fitting. And you can't run the stock spare tire anymore, but let's be honest, if you're putting this bumper on, you don't need to. So I'll show you the bumper on next. Alright, so here it is, roughly clamped on. So kind of how it fits. So then the next phase is going to be coming across here, cutting this off. There's another piece that's going to end up mounting on there. This is so I can get a good line to cut off of. But overall, that's where it's sitting right now. So the next one will be finishing up the shackle mounts and then getting the sides taken care of.